Hello. Mm-mm-mm.
Mm.
Hi.
There's a reverb on my side. Let's see. Do you hear me okay? Oh, I'm close.
I can, and now I can see you, and I'm looking at two computers so I can make sure that this is actually working right.
So very cool.
I know. I guess YouTube Live is kind of new, doing it from your phone.
I'm on my iPad.
Oh, okay. It lets you do it from your iPad.
I could try I could try logging in from my phone. Oh, you froze. Mm. Okay, I'm gonna go out and come back then. Let's see. Oh, here we go. You were frozen for a second. Should I try my phone instead?
No, I can see you fine. I think I had turned my phone on Do Not Disturb. A phone
Same.
call was coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear my music and everything? And you can hear everything fine? Okay, cool. Well, then I'm going to test the chat.
I see you. It says, hi, everyone.
To one another.
It's all good. We will soon enough. We don't live that far
Oh,
from each other.
I know this weather. This weather has been the craziest.
Insane.
Um, Hello, everyone. If you can drop in the chat where you are tuning in from, I want to welcome everyone. I'm super excited for you to be here at the Audacious Book Club experience. I'm also being joined by Chef Nikki. I cannot wait for her to share her Audacity story with everyone. I'm super, super excited that you guys decided to spend your Thursday night with me. So just drop it below. We're going to make friends in the chat in real time. Drop like, hi Joy, hi Sharon, hi Tina. So glad you guys are here. I'm so, so glad that you guys are here. As everyone is dropping in, it's just at the 7 o'clock hour. So I want to give everybody started in about 3 minutes, but so, so glad that you're here. Hi, Janie or Janny from McKinney, Texas. Hey, girl. Hey. I am joining in from Mansfield, Texas. The Texas folks, this weather has, but My children went back to school today. Praise the Lord. Best thing. Mm-mm-mm. Hi, Kanika. Hi, Tiffany. All right, you guys, I'm gonna turn my music down and we're gonna get started. For everyone who's joining in, if you guys would drop where you're tuning in from in the chat, um, first name and your city, and that's how we're going to connect and talk to each other. The chat is going to be our place where we connect and we talk together tonight. So let's blow the chat up. Let's let it be a source of energy to hype us up, to keep us going, and a safe space for us to really dive deep. I'm so glad that you decided to be here with me with the Audacious Book Club. This is my first book club kickoff for 2026, and in chapter one. If you have read the first chapter of Audacious, or maybe you've read the entire book already now, if you can drop it in the chat that you have read and you are caught up to the first chapter in the book, chapter one. Chapter one is called What the F? And we are going to get all into it tonight and dig deep into what chapter one is all about. But before we get started around the chapter, I just want to say, welcome everybody. I'm so glad that you decided to be with me tonight. You could be doing 100 other things. I already know. I got 2-year olds looking at me outside of my office window. I 1000% know that you could be doing so many other things. So I'm so glad that you decided to be here. Now, let me just set expectations for you guys on what this book club is. This is not a traditional book club, right? We're not here to analyze every chapter like a classroom, but we are here to let the chapter analyze us. So tonight, it's not about just not like this dramatic fear, but it is about the quiet fears, the fears that shape our decisions, that delay our steps, and that sometimes convince us to play smaller than we are meant to be. But here's the truth, y'all: fear does not always mean to stop. Oftentimes, it means you're sitting, just got to be willing. And so that's where I'm asking you to meet me at. As we go through every single chapter in this book over the next 12 months, I'm just asking you to be willing. I'm going to share some stories and share stories of why I wrote the chapters in the book and what took me there. As I mentioned, this isn't a traditional book club where we're going to sit and analyze the books. There's going to be a couple of different spins to it. So let me just set what the rules are. The first rule is we are here to be open. Here to be open because we want to be fed and we want to go to the next level. And whatever that next level is for you, I am cheering for you to take that step. The second part of the book club experience is going to be every month we are going to be bringing in a founder, CEO, or president, and you get to see the manifestation of what that steps they took on the other side of experience. And so we were supposed to be in Chef Nikki's restaurant tonight, but I decided to cancel because of the weather and all of the things. But we have her here, and we're going to be talking with her a little bit later. But um, Chef Nikki has built 5 restaurants in Dallas, and I wanted you guys to see and feel what she has built. But I already know it took, she had a whole bunch of fears when she was doing the thing, and we're going to talk about that. And not only to use this inspiration and motivation for you, but really for it to be the anchor for you to hear and see stories of other folks to know that you are not alone, my friend, at all. And then the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to open up every book club experience with prayer because this book and everything inside of this book how we gather together. And so, with that being said, if you guys want to bow your heads, close your eyes, wherever you are, we are going. So, God, thank you for bringing each person to this space tonight. You know the dreams that every single person carries and the fears that they have not said out loud. God, give us the courage to be honest. Help us to clearly see what fear has been influencing in our life and remind us that you did not give us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And let this moment be a moment of clarity. Drop that in the chat. All right, you guys. So we're going to talk about the first chapter. While you guys are dropping that in the chat, and I can come back to it, I'm going to read the opening of the first chapter. So if you haven't read it, let's totally get up. If you have, then this is just going to be, we get to talk through what was happening here in the book. I decided to write this chapter. It was a couple of things happening. I was thinking about my 2-year old at the time who would often drop the what the F bomb around the house. And as she was 2 years old, she would walk around the house and she would say, "What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck?" And I started to realize that I can't say that because she is repeating the things that I am saying. And this is not good at all. And so, with that being said, I uh I said, you know what? I'm gonna open up the first chapter of the book with what the F. But instead of saying it from the F bomb perspective, we're gonna be talking about what the F as it relates to fear. Fear is the F word, right? It's that thing that holds you captive, that makes your chest feel tight, that takes your nervous system to a whole nother space that you didn't even know you could go into, right? That's what fear does. But once we learn how to navigate the fears, y'all, and this is the secret sauce to living the life that you deserve, fear. When you learn how to navigate fear, you can have whatever it is that you want out of life. You can be, you can do anything that you imagine. The only thing on the other side of that not happening for you is fear. And so, my first chapter of the book says, "What the F?" The words ripped from my mouth before I could stop them. My hands shook as I stared at the invoice, the biggest bill of my life. My chest tightened and a cold sweat broke out of my skin. How in the world was I going to pay this? My heart thundered like a drumbeat of panic, and my breath came in shallow, uneven gasps. You know the feeling, that raw, visceral moment when fear grabs hold of you and won't let go. My legs buckled beneath me, as if the weight of my monstrous fears engulfed me like a tidal wave, threatening to drown me in doubt and despair. The full story of what happened next unfolds in chapter 7. But for now, just know experienced fear before. We all know what it feels like to be afraid of something, right? And your fears may not be my fears, but we all know. And the story that I want in the chat, people are saying I'm freezing, but I'm looking on my end. I'm not necessarily seeing anything. Nikki, what about you?
Not freezing, but every now and then I'll slow down, but the sound has not stopped at all. Mm,
It hasn't stopped. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I just want to make sure it gets caught up. Okay. Um, and so fear is that thing that we all can relate to, right? And for me, it was an invoice. I was about to I had just delivered my first order to Target through my children's brand. I had delivered 130,000 pieces of pajamas of my clothing line to Target on my first order. I couldn't find anybody to give me a loan, and I had to do a PO finance. And the PO finance ballooned on me. And I was standing here uh, delivering product to Target. I had to market the product, I had to get it out of their stores and sell it. But I had this huge invoice and I had no idea how I was going to pay for it at all. And so the fear of everything. And I had just had twins. And so everything just felt like it was looming over my head. And I felt like it was the perfect place to start because I did push through and I was able to pay the loan and I was able to sell all of those pieces in Target. But it was, and so that's the first chapter of the book. So, um, are some fears? What are some fears that you guys may be currently experiencing? I guarantee you, if you drop them and say them out loud, you will allow yourself to find a commonality together. Because this is one thing I know. And as I go into the book, into this chapter, it talks about it. The next piece talks about how you have to name your fear. If you don't name your fear, the fear will continue to control you. And so for me, it was hard for me to name the fear for a while because I had to name some things that I was dealing with first. And I was dealing with a lot of uncertainty and a ton of insecurity. And so that was what I had to first my first obstacle that I had to overcome before I could name the fear. So maybe you're there, right? Maybe you're like, I need to name this thing out loud of what I'm experiencing, of why the fear feels this way for me. And then I continue through the chapter and I talk a little bit about on page 8 the types of fears. And there are 4 types of fears that I name in the book. I name the fear of failure. Maybe that's you. Drop that in the chat. The fear of judgment, the fear of the future, and the fear of the unknown, right? Like, I feel like those are all fears that we can relate with. So I'm going to go in the chat and see what you guys have been saying. Some of you guys said the fear of what if, right? Sometimes what I have found as I have like connected with so many folks and did the book tour and all the things, you're not afraid of it not happening. A lot of times we are afraid that it will actually happen, that I actually got to do the thing that I said I wanted to do, that I got to produce, that I got to show up, that this dream is going to happen for me and I'm responsible for it. That's a fear, right? The fear of the what if it does, what if it doesn't, right? Some of you guys said the fear of uncertainty. I feel like I was on the book tour and that's how I felt that was heavy across every city. Uncertainty, right? Because we're looking and hearing everything around us. But when we lock in on what we can control, and the thing that we can control is the effort. That's it. That's what you can control. But you know what you can't control? The outcome. The effort, you own that every day of the week. You eat effort for breakfast, but you don't know what the outcome is going to be. And that's okay. That ain't your business. Effort is yours, your business, not the outcome. Some of you guys have said fear of failure, fear of failure. I mean, there's so many fear of failure, fear of debt. I know that, right? But I want you guys to look in the chat and see how so many of you guys are experiencing the same types of fears. Might not be the exact same type of situation, but the same type of fear. So, what's on the other side of fear? And so, for me, my philosophy is fear is the greatest obstacle to living an audacious life and building the life and career you deserve. But if you overcome the fear, that's where audacity lives, the audacity to live the life that you want to live. So we're going to get into it. We're going to discover your audacity type. Which one feels most like you? I want you to drop this in the chat. Do you feel like you are a quiet disruptor? Do you feel like you are a vision carrier? Do you feel like you are a reluctant leader? Or maybe you're a builder? Drop in the chat which audacity type you are. I think that when we begin to recognize the types that we are and um and what aligns to our lives, we begin to give it a name and a title, which allows us to usher ourselves into that thing. Because you can say, man, I'm not good at a thing, I'm really unsure about a thing, I'm really not confident about a thing, I don't show up strong about a thing, right? You can say all of those things and then that becomes your story. But what if we reverse that story? Instead, what if we reverse that story to talk about our audacity type of us being a quiet disruptor? And you don't see where I'm coming in at, but I'm disrupting spaces and places to make impact for the future in my community and my family and my children, right? You start naming the thing and giving it a name that works for you versus working against you. You get to control this narrative a little bit differently. And that's what I have learned about fear. Here's the other thing I want to say is that fear don't go away unless you position it to go away. I'm still afraid of some things. But you know what's bigger than my fear? My vision. The vision that I have for myself, the thing that I believe and I know that can exist for me, the thing that I wake up and I fight for every single day because I feel like I am. I'm fighting for it. I'm fighting for my life, right? But when I think about did I put in the effort? Did I place the effort into the day? Because God knows that the things and the desires of my heart, He knows what I need. And all I'm in control of is the effort. And when you start looking at it from that perspective, I feel like fear starts to understand what seat it's supposed to sit in, which is not the front seat driving, but it can sit on the passenger seat if it needs to. You just need to know what place it has. And maybe you got to start naming the fear. So if I am fear of failure, all right, Linda, fear of failure, you gonna keep on trying to rewrite that story because you know I was 7 years old and I was hungry when I was a little girl, and you gonna try to you really tap onto that emotion to making me believe that that's where I'm gonna be again, right? If I try this thing, right? Because you know those couple of times when I tried a thing when I was a little kid and it didn't work out for me, and you're really pushing on those traumas, right? And so if you look at it from that perspective, if you naming it and you give it its name and you can Us. All of the ways that you got reluctant leader, vision carrier, builder, quiet disruptor. I love it. And you do. You put in the effort and you release it. You put in the effort and you release it. And that's, I can't wait till as we go through on the last chapter of the book of surrender and we get to talk all about that. But we start here, fear. Because if we know how to navigate this, it's the foundation of how we then carry our vision and craft our story and activate our network. But we got to first get the foundation laid around our fear. So we we've talked about the fear types. Um, I want to do a guided visualization with you guys. So wherever you are, if you're in a safe space, I want to make sure that everybody's in a safe space. And give me a thumbs up if you're with me, a fire emoji if that made sense, a heart. Just talk back to me. I need to know that you guys are hearing and understanding what this chapter is really about. I want to do a guided visualization with you guys, which is really around how we navigate the fears. So post this call. I'm gonna send this out to you guys. So because this could be something that's a part of your morning routine and that you incorporate into your everyday as we think about fears. And when they creep back on you, I want to equip you guys and place tools in your arsenal on how you navigate these fears. Okay. All right. So if you're in a place where you can close your eyes, I would love for you to close your eyes. Because there's something really powerful when you don't see anything else around you and you can still yourself. If you're somewhere where you can ground your feet, that's also really important. You can put your feet on solid ground, wiggle your toes a little bit, make sure you're present and you're here with me. Ground your feet, wiggle your hands, close your eyes. Stand up in the sit in the most comfortable position for yourself. And I want you to picture the situation that you are avoiding. Is that email? Is that bill in the mail? Is that conversation with that person? Picture the situation that you have been avoiding. What is the thing that you don't want to deal with? Once you get that in your head and in your mind, I want to tell you fear is still present in it. But the good news is that fear now knows its place in the car. It's not driving the car. Maybe it's moved to the passenger side. Maybe it's sitting in the back seat. Maybe you get some real umps about you. You put that thing in the trunk. You know it's present, but it's not driving you. And whatever that thing is that you've been avoiding, I want you to imagine yourself taking the step connected to that audacity type that we just mentioned. I want you to visualize, what does being a builder mean for me? Maybe a quiet disruptor. What does that look like for me? Maybe it's a reluctant leader. How am I carrying that out? Or a vision carrier? Whatever your audacity type, I want you to notice its posture. How does it stand? How does it breathe? What energy does it carry? Imagine the builder being strong and tall and opening doors for people and ushering folks in and leading people to the water and to the way, whatever that is. Imagine it. Take it in. Take its posture, its breath, and its energy and own it for yourself. And then I want you to ask yourself this really important question. What is my first small move after tonight? My very small move. I'm going to send the email in the morning. Maybe I'm not going to send it. I'm just going to draft it. Maybe I'm going to practice the pitch. Maybe I'm going to research the companies. What is the small move that you're going to make after tonight? Now I want everybody to open their eyes. That's what you're going to be equipped with for tomorrow. Your small move. People don't move mountains on their back. People move mountains one step at a time. You climb a mountain one step at a time. You don't swallow it all at once. And so that's it. That's how we get to navigate these fears. We got to start vision casting it. We got to start seeing it. And then we got to start equipping ourselves with the information, the people, the tools to move it forward. And so that's going to be your action for tonight. Your small, specific step you can take tomorrow. And then you're going to write out the next 7 days. And then next month, we're going to talk about what you have done to remove these fears that you're holding on to so tightly. Because we're going to release those before we go and capture our vision. All right. Before we go into the conversation with Chef Nikki in the chat, I want to give you guys space to tell me how you take. There we go. I'm back. Um, I placed in the chat, drop in the chat your response to chapter one. What have been some of your takeaways to chapter one? What have been some things that you're like, man, I would love to know this about chapter one? Or what have you been able to gain from it? I would love to hear that in the chat and for others to experience that as well. I'll give you guys a couple of moments to catch up because I know that I had frozen for a second. Strong cup of coffee. I love that. I love that. Hopeful. Oh, I love that. Just jump. That's right. That's right. That's right. All right. Well, Chef Nikki, this is our moment together. So, could you introduce and share with everyone who you are and what you got going on, girl?
Well, it's an honor to be here. What an awesome community you have, Marty. This is so great. I'm reading all the chats. Yes, my name is Nikki, or I go by Chef Nikki here in Dallas, Texas. I founded and operate five Asian restaurants here across the Metroplex. Been around for 22 years this year. But what has been really fun recently, maybe in the past 4 or 5 years, is I have launched a book. I have started culinary retreats to Thailand. I do these amazing experiences, speaking, and just really sharing with the world what I have found has been my calling is to inspire people through food, culture, and travel, and just really leaning into just what really feels and feeds my soul, that alone will feed others' souls.
That's so good. I love that. I love that. Well, I know that we wanted to be in your space, and I wanted everyone to be able to experience and to see like what you've been able to build. You don't have one restaurant, Chef Nikki. You have 5 restaurants, which is called Asian Mint in the DFW area. When you were building this, was there a moment where you had to act before you felt ready? Where audacity had to come first and maybe confidence followed later?
Like every day, every day, every hour.
Yes, 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 yes.
So absolutely. I mean, just signing that first lease to that first location, that
Mm,
was scary, right?
mhm.
I had
Like,
to
are people
personally
gonna come?
guarantee, yeah, are people gonna come? I have to personally guarantee my entire life to this because I, never had a restaurant or a
Mhm,
business. Everything's brand new. No landlord wanted to, sign us because we were nobody. We're not like
mm,
a big brand name that they can like, oh, for sure they're gonna work out. I mean, just that alone was very
mhm,
scary.
mhm. Yeah, I can only imagine, right?
Mhm.
Um, what was that moment where you signed it, but what was going through your mind? Like you did the thing, but you were like, I see something bigger than what's in front of me right now.
I think it's just or I had to trust my gut more than anything. And like, this is the best next right move. The little steps that you were talking about before. This is the next thing I have to do to get to what I really want to create, which is this beautiful restaurant that really has like fresh foods, the foods that I grew up with in Bangkok and Thailand. And just to be able to do that, I had a checklist, but all of them obviously had some scary things that I've never done
Mm,
before. I was
yeah.
27 at the time, and
Wow.
I don't know how much barely anything in my bank account. And at that time, I was trying to figure out how to get loans. And again, because you're new, young, inexperienced, nothing as collateral, was not able to get a bank loan. So what I did was I went and signed up for all these credit cards that were giving out, 0%, you know, credit line for $30,000, pay it back in 6 months, or else, 25% fees. But it just felt like, you know what? If I don't do this, then what? What else am I going to do?
Mm,
So it was really just kind of going through the motion and just taking the next best step forward to be able to create what I feel was my calling at the time, was to open a restaurant.
hmm And when you did that, right? Did you ever like walk us through the moments of how you had to pep talk yourself when you did it, when you got the 30,000 and you were like, oh, I actually
This
needed
is
a
real.
150,000, right? And that really ain't enough. And I already spent the 30,000. So where am I gonna go get the next 30 from?
I still remember to this day of like clicking on the computer, like, take my application, like, "Bing, is it even gonna be accepted?" I don't even know, like, where else were you
Hmm.
gonna find money, and would the check really show up?
Hmm.
Like, it was like just really relying on the things to happen, but you just have to really clearly see and feel that this is the next best thing for you to do to make it happen. Um, Fortunately, just coming out of college, meeting my husband, we got married 1 month before we opened the restaurant together. And that was, a risk taking. Are we going to be able to survive it? Didn't even think about it. It didn't even cross my mind how hard it would be on my marriage. We're still together. We have two beautiful kids now, and we're
Hmm.
still figuring it out every day. It's just like one thing at a time. But yes, sweats, all the things you were talking about, like the cold chills, the butterfly in your stomach, like or like you just feel like something just drops inside.
Mhm.
But
Mhm.
I guess after you do it enough times,
Yeah.
you get used to it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like, here I go. Let me sign my life away again. Here I go. Let me sign my life again. You know what? What's going to happen is going to happen. So
Mhm.
you just have to do it. And just a very recent, I think maybe a year or two ago, I've been to a couple of conferences and I heard somebody talk about fear. And I love how you frame it in this book. It's so beautiful. But
Mm,
this
thank you.
quote came from a well-known coach. You might know him, Zig Ziglar. He has since passed. He's
Oh,
actually from
yes.
Dallas
Yes,
area.
Zig Ziglar. He's a legend.
Legend, right? But somebody gave me this quote, and for till this day, and I think every day going forward, I will think about fear from this way. So fear has two meanings. The literally the acronym FEAR. It could be forget everything and run, right? My favorite one is face everything and rise.
Mm,
And that's how I now interpret fear. It's a signal, right? It
yep.
will, you just have to face it. You face it and be like, okay, what is this fear signaling? Is it me being small? Am I not in my greatness? Am I really, biting off something that's too big? Or is it the right direction? But
Mm,
once you feel it and connect, then you have to make a decision. And from that point, you can move forward.
mhm,
Seems like somebody's home, and then I hope my dog doesn't start barking. But yes,
mhm,
that right now has been really what I live upon is to just feel everything and rise. And it really has served me. I hope it can serve your community. But Zig Ziglar is, a legend, like you said.
mhm. Yes, I love how you frame it, right? And I think that here's the thing, like this is what, there are some incredibly successful women that I know and men that are joining us, right? And we all collectively understand that fear is a part of it. But I want to say to everyone, and I know Chef Nikki that you can relate to this, is that the fear don't go away when you get this or gain or accomplish this thing, right? You know what happens? You end up wanting more.
Which I comes back to me. I was reading the chat group. This is such an awesome chat group. And I read somewhere somebody said the fear of success. And what came to mind in me, and I'm like, girl, get comfortable with it because that's the fun kind of thing that comes
Yes.
your way. I mean, this book that I launched last year, that was scary. My
Mhm.
entire life story is in here,
Mm,
probably same as yours. And it's like, wow, I'm putting my entire self out there for the world to read, for the world to see. What are they going to think? All
yeah.
my failures, yes, there's successes, but all the stories are in there. But I had the courage to share literally one third of the book is like my story because through being in the restaurant, I
Mhm.
have realized because my guests will come and sit with me at the bar. We'll just start chit chatting, and they'll just be like, Nikki, I feel so inspired by what you do because you just go and do it, and you have this beautiful grace. You're very zen about it. But because of what I have watched you, and I'm like, a lot of them have been, customers over 20 years. I call them mint fanatics. Like we're fans of each other, we're family. And it's just those moments where I go, you know what? If this story or this conversation that I had with this just one person made a difference in their life, I believe there are more people who could benefit from this. So let
Mm,
me share it. And that's kind
mhm.
of how you just keep putting it out there.
You do, um, and yeah, no, it doesn't go away. There are some things that I want to accomplish in this next phase, in this next season of my life, and I'm like, that seems really scary. Like, am I gonna be able to do it? Because now my circumstances are different, right? And your circumstances change. And so for me, I'm like, man, I'm gonna be able to do it. I'm a mom. I got three little kids under the age of 5. Like, am I gonna miss something? Am I gonna fuck my kids up? Because I don't want to mess them up, and I want to be there for them. And then
Yes.
when I start spiraling in it, I'm like, take ground my feet, put my feet on the ground, just like I told y'all to do, close my eyes. What is the thing that I'm afraid of actually? Right? Not the tactics, not these next steps. What is the thing that I need to name and claim so that I can own it, right? And that's the exercise, y'all. That's when you start to and you're like, you know, sometimes we're not in a safe spaces to talk about our fears out loud, to tell them to anyone. When I was building Bustle and Media and I left my corporate company, I felt like I wanted to talk about building business every single day. That was a part of my DNA. I was going to win at this thing, but I didn't have a lot of folks I could talk to it about. Because unfortunately, everybody didn't want me to win. Me winning was uncomfortable for them, right? So when you talk about these fears, you got to get comfortable a little bit with talking to them with yourself
So
and not
true.
saying it out loud amongst a whole community. Because there are some folks who want you to stay living in them fears. And you got to be careful with whom you tell these fears to. Yeah. No, that was so good. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you one last question,
Hmm.
which is Um, if yes was available to you today, right? And you know that that yes was available, right? Um, what would you be doing differently? Or what would you have done sooner? Or what would you have done bigger?
I think about that a lot, and I believe that I probably wouldn't go back and change anything, funny enough, because all the lessons that I've learned has made me capable to make the next best step or the next
Mm.
best thing. Um, and to be comfortable in it. So I was thinking about this question. I do get asked a lot, would I go back and change anything? And I can't think of anything to change at the moment because it has led me to where I am today. And I'm very comfortable and I'm very happy. I'm very content to where I am. What is your answer to this question? Now I'm curious about you.
Oof,
Have you thought about
well,
this one?
oh
Turn it
hell
around.
yeah. All the time. I mean,
The what if?
I could say, man, I wish I wouldn't have bloomed on that loan, but I'm actually glad I bloomed on that
Mm,
loan because now I understand where money and how you get money.
mhm,
Because we in this country we glorify people going to get money, to borrow money from
mm.
people, and we use that as a badge of honor. So and so raised 10 million, 20 million. I don't like owing people money.
Same, same.
And so I'm glad I had that experience so that I didn't get caught up in the hype of a story of going to go chase a thing for a headline, right? So
Mm,
I think about it from that perspective too. We went into Target way too soon. We were 6 months in business. We went in way too soon, right? I wish I had have had some lessons around that. Again, sometimes you chase the title of a thing, the
mm.
accolade of what a thing could be. And so um I'm learning how to be content with not chasing a title or a person to be attached to anything that I have or that I do, because I don't want to miss simply giving glory to God in it. And so if yes was available to me, I would be leading more, would have led more with my faith instead of trying to lead from a space of look at me, I'm good enough now.
Yes, that's a big one. Imposter syndrome, right? Is kind of like where we can put ourselves in often. And I totally agree. I think if I think that just comes with time and experience. Like you just kind of know at a certain time is you got to listen to yourself, listen to your soul, listen to the messages that are coming down to you and following through with that. But it takes time. I don't
Mhm,
think, if I was in my or I was in my 20s or even in my 30s, that message wasn't coming in as clear as
mhm.
it is now.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
very clear, like getting to spend time with you, the person who connected us together. There was a reason
Mhm,
why we are here today together.
mhm.
And with that, I think it's a lot of alignment and saying yes to the right things and not for the wrong reasons. So,
Yeah,
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 for sure.
yeah, exactly, exactly. Well, thank you for being with us and sharing your insight and really just grounding us in a story of we all experience fear, y'all. Whatever it is, whatever you want. I told my story of fear. Chef Nikki told her story of fear. If we go back and you look in the chat, you're hearing folks what they are afraid of. That joins us all together. I don't care if you're the president of the United States or if you are, at the the lowest title of a person, or if you're a grandma, or if you're a grandpa, or a college student. Everybody experiences it. And so how I'm gonna close us out tonight really is around the exercise that I gave you guys. Tonight's message wasn't about eliminating your fears. It really is about shifting your leadership with fear, which fear can come, but it doesn't lead your life. That's what I want you guys to take away. So as we go through the chapter, we highlight and we got notes, and I got all kind of notes up in here that I have been taking on my own work, right? And I've been going back and um pulling up stuff of my own experiences and different lessons, and really the fear audacity paradox. Y'all, this two sides of fear, it's so good. I really, really recommend you guys leaning in to it because it lays out really easily those fears, the names of the fears, and how you reframe them, how you name them and reframe them, and how can lead you to freedom. And so, how I want to close us out tonight is we talked about your assignment, right? So, read chapter one, make sure you go through chapter one. And your assignment is what's one small specific step that you can take over the next 7 days, um, that allow you to push past your fears. You got 7 days to start taking action and activating on it. So, however you want to showcase that, is that if you want to post it on social, you want to post it on LinkedIn, you want to post it on IG, Facebook, whatever. I want you to start saying it and doing it and activating it out loud. That's your homework. And then um, I want you to tell someone around your circle the fear that you are not letting control. It might be your mama, your husband, your best friend, a coworker, whoever that is. Then you got to put it in action because there's something really powerful when you say a thing out loud. And so I want you guys to repeat after me. I know I can't hear you, but I want you to say it out loud what I'm saying to you, which is I can feel fear and I still move forward. I can feel fear and I still move forward. Fear is present, but it does not lead me, and I choose audacity. This is your season. This is your season to choose it. It's available to you. It is your inheritance. And I am believing that. And I am standing with you on knowing that you are going to push past all of these fears and live the life that you deserve. So, I'm going to stay on here for a little while. If anybody want to drop any questions in the chat, I'll sit here and wait to answer them. But thank you guys so much for joining the Audacious Book Club tonight on YouTube Live. Yay, we did it, y'all. I'm so excited about this. Next month, if you're in Dallas, Texas, we will always meet the last Thursday of every month at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Next month, we will be in a space in Dallas. I have not selected our exact space just yet, so stay tuned for that. And I can't wait to see you in person. And if that's going to be you virtually, I will see you virtually back here on YouTube Live, um, February the 27th at 7 p.m. Thank you guys. And listen, now don't be selfish. Share with a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend, okay? The Audacious Book Club is here. And so make sure that you are spreading this word. My goal is 100,000 copies of this book sold by the end of the year. So we got to do our part, and we got to spread the word and the message to our friends and our family and our coworkers. And thank y'all so much for leaning in and rocking with me. So if you have any questions, I'm right here. I'm going to answer any questions that you guys have. I'm turning my Lizzo back up. And thank you, Chef Nikki.
Thank you for having me. It's been an honor. What a beautiful, beautiful community that you have.
I appreciate it.
Excited to be a part of it now.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So someone asked, will you be touring? I toured in the fall. And so I don't have any tour dates right now for 2026. So stay tuned. We'll see if I do anything in the fall. Someone asked if I have a mentorship group. This is going to be our group, our collective, the book club. We'll do exactly what we just did tonight. We're going to join both in person and virtually. We'll have the experience together. We'll connect with folks together. But not currently a mentorship group. I am coming back to Atlanta. I can't wait. I'm gonna be back in March. I'll let you guys know my dates of when I'm in Atlanta and what I'm doing there. What goals did I set for myself when I left corporate? Do you have any deadlines in place that oh, listen, let me tell you, Jennifer. When I left corporate America, I was so sure I was not going back. It never even it wasn't an option. It really wasn't. It wasn't an option to go back. And now on the other side of it, I know what's possible. And so sometimes you just got to see what's possible when you leave a thing. But the goals I had for myself, I was really clear on what I wanted to build. I didn't necessarily have any financial goals per se. The financial goals that I did achieve blew my mind, but I never set out for doing a thing just from a perspective of like this is the number I want to make. I ended up really setting it from a space in which I think that this is what made it successful. It was all about how I was going to make impact to other folks. It never really was about me. It was me creating a storytelling company in which I could showcase other stories of women who look like me. I could create an experience for other folks. And so, because I never let it with it being about me, is I 1000% know that was why it was successful. And so, though that's what I was really clear. I was very clear on the vision. The next chapter of the book, we're going to really dig deep into vision. Um, that was my foundation. I could see it before anybody else saw it, and that's all I needed. Because you can't unsee when you see a thing. And that's amazing. I'm so glad the opportunities are coming. And corporate's trying to pull you back. And maybe you go in, but at a different capacity, right? We got to be smart about how we make money and create wealth for our families. So, but there's so many ways. I recently saw something about collaborative consulting, where people are now coming together as like cohorts to consult for companies in a collaboration forum. That's something you explore, Jennifer. When you are in those seasons of waiting on God to confirm or guide you, what do you feel your spirit? What do you feel your spirit and stay motivated, uplifting in the waiting? Whew, that is such a great question. Um, I have to remind myself of the receipts of what God had done before. Because if I stay focused on where I want to go and nothing in motion is happening, y'all, I will feel defeated. I'll feel like it's never going to happen. I'll start telling myself the story. Maybe this ain't for me. So the best way to posture yourself in a waiting season is to equip yourself with gratitude. The things that God has done for you before. What are the ways in which He showed up for you? Sometimes you got to start reciting them. And sometimes, if you don't have them for yourself, you know where the best place to get them at? The Bible. You get to hear and you get to see and you get to read the stories in which God did His big one. You get to hear the stories of how He fed the 5,000. You get to see the stories about the bleeding woman. You get to see how He showed up for David. You get to see what happened with the Israelites. You get to see God show His hand. And so when I'm in a waiting season, I'm posturing myself with gratitude, and I for some reason the chat dropped me, but hopefully you guys were able to see that. I just dropped in the chat. See, that was the enemy. He didn't want me telling you about all the things that how you posture yourself in your waiting season. I hope that you heard that. I hope you took that in. Love and libations. Um, and I hope that you are equipped now with that information. All right, you guys. Well, I appreciate you from the bottom of my heart for being with me for 1 hour and taking time. I know I got to go do bath time and make sure my people are in the bed. I will see you guys next month. Thank you. Continue to spread the message of audacity and audaciousness. And I can't wait to see you on the other side. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye bye.